Hello,
Hey,
my name's Owen,
and I'm Stephen Brown.
and he's my dad. And
This is my son.
what we're doing today is we have points to talk about.
Yeah, and this is the generational podcast.
Forgot about that.
Actually, we're not supposed to announce our plans. We're just supposed to talk. It's kind of like a.
Okay.
So, did you hear that Don Lemon was fired from CNN?
Who's Dom Lemon?
He's a CNN talk show host. I wouldn't even say he's a news anchor because news anchors after 2013 changed.
Okay.
So basically after that time, I think it was 2013 or 2003. I can't remember the exact date. It's one of the two. Propaganda was allowed to be pushed legally in America because before you had to have some kind of real news reporting before that, I guess. And then they had some kind of change in a bill during that time.
Well,
but anyway,
you were talking about Dom Lemon.
Don Lemon got fired. And, you know, I don't like rejoicing when anybody gets fired from anything because that is just really, I don't want to rejoice in someone's failure. You know, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he said. He most recently made some comments about, that I saw a clip of, I think Benny Johnson clip. Shout out Benny Johnson. You expose a lot. I don't even know how you expose just so much. But he basically put out that, you know, Don Lemon was talking about American history, and we're rich in our history, and part of our history of becoming free, a free nation, is very, 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 very intertwined with the right to bear arms.
Okay.
Because without that right, none of the other rights exist. Period. Hands down. Period. You can sit there and use your First Amendment all you want, but somebody that has that Second Amendment right can trample your First Amendment right if you don't have a Second Amendment right. It's kind of like how it works here. It's like declawing a cat. Declawed cat can never defend itself. You let a declawed cat outside, probably not going to live very long.
Right.
And that's just kind of how nature works.
Okay, so what did Dom?
Well, apparently they let him go after. I mean, it might have been a few different mistakes here and there. He ruffled the wrong feathers. I have no idea. But then to that flip side, you have
Tucker
TC.
Carlson.
Yeah, old TC. I guess he got fired or he resigned. I don't know which one it is specifically because it seems like the people on the left, like AOC and what's that dude that has a realty company? Oh, Schumer. Is it Schumer? Schumer, like, really, like, were praising the Murdochs for, like, canning him, but, like, I don't know if the Murdochs really, like, I don't think they even really care one side or the other. You know, I don't know what side the Murdoch family is. I think they're on their family side, which is a great side to be on. Instead of right or left, they're on the family side, their family with the best interest for their family. But I don't see how letting Tucker Carlson go or firing Tucker Carlson helps that company.
Okay.
Because he's a big draw for that company. I, for one, don't follow Fox News anymore because, like, he's the only one that I would even remotely try to listen to. So.
Okay, now I understand why you said you didn't know why Don Lemon was fired. It's because we don't know why he was fired. It says it right here.
Nobody knows. But if you look at the comments that he has made, I can guarantee you that has some kind of merit to do with it. Because he made some comments about some of our richest history. Right? And our richest history is our Black Americans. And the reason why I say Black American and not African American is because not everybody is African.
Right.
And I don't want to blanket statement all Americans here that are black, they're American because maybe you don't identify with anything that has to do with Africa because you're an American. You might have grown up in New York City and your family grew up there and your grandfather grew up there or something like that. I have a friend of mine that grew up in New York, and he used to get so angry if you used to call him African American. He's like, those people put us on ships to come here too. He's like, I'm not African. I can't identify with that. And I was like, oh, damn. You know, so my experiences that way kind of changed things a bit. So that might have had something to do with it. Like I said, Benny Johnson has a clip on that, and I watched it. Now, as far as Tucker Carlson goes, I know that a lot of people have been calling for his job to be, and over the years, he's been, you know, when Hollywood like wants to take the microphone back, they will, and that's just kind of how it works. And you know, that's a lot of powerful people that you make angry,
right?
And I look at things and I think, well, Tucker Carlson, he's one of those people, like he's gonna make it no matter what. He'll probably already have his own podcast out already. I'm just saying he's somebody that he could probably run for president or vice president and do well with the American public. And that terrifies a lot of people too. And he might want to do that. That might be something that he wants to get into. You know, do you ever want to get into that, Owen?
Politics?
Yep, you should probably get off that phone though.
No, I'm searching why Tucker Carlson got fired, because
if
you don't know.
No, like I said, there's
stop the conversation.
It's not an I don't know, because we're discussing the different reasons why. He's had a whole year of exposing a lot of things that a lot of people haven't seen or heard for a long time.
I want to know what he actually got fired for.
You know,
because we could all.
That's a personal thing.
Yeah, that is a personal.
So we will never know until he comes out with a statement saying that, and that's why it's news and speculation that we can talk about it first.
Okay, all right, because he doesn't really have a reason either. So both of them don't have much of a reason to get fired.
And I don't believe that. There's a plan. There's a plan. There's always a plan. You know, it's kind of like this. I remember back when Trump said that he was going to surprise everybody with his, like, who his VP might be. And, like, that would surprise everybody if it was Tucker Carlson.
If it was Tucker Carlson,
that would be
very surprising.
That would be a
play move.
That's a Trump card.
Yeah, that is a very
That would be a Trump
card.
card. That would be hard to beat.
Because he has a whole bunch of press with him already.
Oh, man.
So he might be able to create his own organization of news media.
He's probably already been done, those guys.
Yeah.
And if that happens, whoo, that's going to be hard.
Oh, my goodness.
Biden actually said he's going to go for a second term.
Yeah, and that scares me a lot. Because
why does it scare you? You're not paying taxes.
No, I'm not paying taxes, but I want to see where my future is going. All right.
You know, it's
the reason why I'm scared is because
it's okay. Don't worry. Everybody understands. Okay. We're just people, and we're making
Everybody
mistakes.
Understands.
We're still getting. This is only what, number 6? This is number 6, right?
Right. I would say that, going back to what I was saying, that I am scared of Biden going for a second term. I really think that Biden is mentally ill at this point. Because me and my friends at the school laugh about his mistakes. Like looking at the ice cream truck instead of talking to the press. Or mumbling words that shouldn't actually be mumbled. I've listened to presidential speeches before, and it's just a long pause, not a mumble.
Do you think he's up there as a mockery to Americans that we're kind of like, you know, it's a mockery of how...
I would say that it's sad. Not a mockery, but it's sad as an American citizen.
As an American, I feel that it's a mockery of how we actually... Like, that is a representation of an American, but that's not a representation of an American. That's what's getting me, is like, we're getting all these representations of what Americans are, and none of them are accurate. So it's like I don't, I've been everywhere. I've been all over America, everywhere.
And Americans are usually
Tough.
yeah.
They're tough and tired. They're tough and tired. I meet tough and tired people everywhere. Everywhere. Left, right, middle. Doesn't matter. They're all tough and they're all tired.
Mm-hmm.
They're tired of getting beat up, but they're tough as hell for sticking with it. It's one thing to have, and I think we can attest to this recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to have a whole lot of power over someone, to be able to do something to somebody and destroy them and know you have that power. It's a whole nother thing to use that power.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you can sit there and someone can sit there and poke you and poke you and poke you and poke you, and this person is weak
Okay.
and feeble.
Okay.
They're smart, but they're weak and they're feeble, and you know that you can beat them, but you don't do it. Why? Because it's not proper. Because it's not what a bully would do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we're not bullies. So what do? We take in consideration what they have and their feelings, and we take in consideration their value, and we try and work with that here, right? Other countries will not work with you. I'm telling you, take that somewhere in any other country. You try and you come up feeble and weak and you complain, they stomp on you. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't need you. They don't care what you say. This is the only country in the whole world where you can sit there and have a say in something. The person that is the smallest can have a say. Their vote counts just as much as the person that's the biggest.
Okay. So let me summarize where we've been going with this conversation.
All right.
First, we talked about how our presidential cabinet currently is making America look feeble and weak. Then you talked about how America was one of the last place.
The last place.
Where smaller countries are able to
people
develop.
Where people are.
You just said countries first. I was going to get to
What do you mean
that.
countries?
Well, you were talking about countries first. You're able to negotiate.
No.
It was really weird. But
Oh, no.
it wasn't? So
That's not what I
you
said.
were saying from a citizen to a politician.
It
you
doesn't
can
matter
negotiate with each other?
It doesn't matter here. You could be someone without a job and a non-productive person in society, and your vote still counts.
Okay.
Your vote still counts. You're still counted here as a human being. You still have value, is what I'm saying. Here, you could be a weak, feeble-minded person, and you still have value. Your ideas still have value, right? That's how we think of people here in America. Everyone has value. We value human life here. But other countries are not so nice. And people don't understand that because all they've ever seen is this country.
Okay.
You try to take some of this to any other country, and the people will eat you. Or the government will eat you. One of the two, right? You try to go to the jungle with some weak stuff, lions are going to eat you.
So you're
You know what I'm
saying
saying?
this wouldn't fly in other countries?
I'm saying that this country, we're so gifted that we protect everybody.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter what religion you have. It doesn't matter what your background or where you come from. If you're an American, you are protected with your rights, right?
Right.
Tying it back in, right? We're all protected with our rights to protect ourselves. And in that sense, we can also protect others in a group, right? So what I'm saying is here it's just a wonderful thing that we have that everybody has a vote and everybody can count on their vote, and we should value that.
Okay.
All right. So what are the other topics we're going to talk about?
Well, I thought you had all of them, but
Let's roll. I can't see with the sunglasses on inside, man. But I got to keep them on because I'm not going to share my beautiful eyes with anybody no more.
okay. okay, you said, all right. So this is where we're
We'll
going.
get better. I promise, we'll get better.
So, how are you? Okay. So you know about fighting a lot, and much of your fighting comes from Pancreas, and you're always talking about pro wrestling, and I wanted to know if any of what your prior fighting had anything to do with pro wrestling.
Okay, so in Pancreas, Peace Lab, Yokohama, shout out to all the guys there, Ito-san and all those guys. All those guys, if you guys are still there training, shout out to you guys. Also, shout out to Rodeo Style and Reversal Grand Slam Gym, Yokohama, used to be Ground Slam Gym. Shout out to you guys, Shuichiro Katsumura. BJ Kojima over there in what is that, Okinawa. He's got a gym there.
Okay.
So anyway, shout out to all you guys. Anyway, to what we're saying is, yeah, I started out in a Pancreas gym, and Pancreas is a Karl Gotch system, and Karl Gotch is also a performer, an entertainer for wrestling, submission wrestling, and wrestling, like, you know, WWE stuff, but he was old school. Like you talk to Ric Flairs or any of those guys, any of those schools, and you talk about Karl Gotch, and they'll know exactly what's going on. But that was what I grew up in Japan, fighting, learning the basics of everything, and they were so about wrestling that they told me, don't go to my back. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, what happens if I go to my back? And they're like, don't go to your back. And I was like, well, wait a second. You know, I've watched Gracie just like tap everybody from their back, so I got to know something. Well, it took almost a year before I actually got to learn things, and they literally make you the fittest you'll ever be in your entire life, and it's a requirement almost for a full year before you get to learn anything.
All right.
Which I don't know if it's the greatest way to go about things, because I started learning everything that I can quickly. Mm-hmm. And that, I don't know if they like that very much, but I got a hold of every book that I could, every video that I could. I started going to jiu-jitsu places, and I started doing the big no-no taboo thing is going from gym to gym, and I became a gym whore in Japan. A gym hopper. Not really, no. And then I ended up, you know, getting my kind of a position at Grand Slam Gym in Yokohama, was Ground Slam Gym, and I trained pro practices every morning.
Okay.
I was there with their guys for I don't know how many years. It was a couple of years, at least 2 years, maybe more. And I was also teaching their morning classes. So I know a lot. I just didn't realize that I was, once I sit down and think about it, I just stand up, boxing, kickboxing, judo, wrestling, Muay Thai. I love it all. And they call me otaku. So, like, I was Sogo Kakutogi Otaku. So basically a mixed martial arts nerd when it came to moves and stuff. So it's one of those things that if I get into it, I got to get right back into it. And you're starting to see it now, and you're actually doing pretty good.
He lost 30 pounds in...
I don't know if I've lost 30.
No, 30 pounds. You lost about 30 pounds in...
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Right about 2 months.
Yeah. I've got a few more pounds to lose, though. I've still got ways to go.
In about half a year, you would have lost about 60, 70 pounds.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it, and that's only because we're getting in great shape, and I'm moving really well.
We'll talk about diets at some
Anyway,
point.
What's the next thing? Oh, so
yeah. Diaz.
So the WWE and UFC are together, and I think that's a good thing, and I hope that hopefully they have some cool things, some fighters coming out. So.
Okay, so I was going to
Oh, Diaz and who?
Boxing, was it Logan Paul?
Yeah, I think it's Logan. What's the other guy's name?
Jake.
Maybe it was Jake. It's one of the brothers. I'm sorry that I don't know the difference. I'm not y'all's age, and I don't really YouTube much. But we're trying this out. He knows more about you guys. I mean, I saw like the boxing kid. I've seen him do pretty good. So I think he fought the Gypsy King's little brother or something. Another Fury. I watched some clips on that. I was impressed with the Pauls. Like I said, I don't know which one it is, and I don't mean any disrespect, but I just don't know the difference between you two because I just don't know. I just know one of you has been sticking with boxing pretty well, and he's boxing what, Diaz?
It's Logan.
It's Logan.
But this is pretty recent. There's a police warrant after him.
Of Logan or Nate?
Of Nate.
Why?
He choked out a Logan Paul lookalike.
Oh no. See? I don't even know what the heck is going on. Please tell me these are fake headlines. Please tell me this is fake news. Man, Nate, what are you doing, bro? You're supposed to make money. You're not supposed to lose it in the street. Oh. Bro, what are you doing, man?
So, we might never get to see that fight.
Oh, come on. Come
It
on.
was in the streets of New Orleans.
New Orleans. Come on, dude. Oh, well. Anyway, I guess we're not going to see that fight. I guess that's just now breaking, maybe?
Yeah, they have a clip of him choking him out.
Let me see it. Let's see it.
All right.
Yeah, I got that front choke. Yep, got him. Oh, and that hurt.
Yeah.
See, I did that to a guy in Japan.
Should I
Same
show
choke. No, don't show it.
Okay.
Just tell him to go to it.
Yeah, it's on MSN right now. So Microsoft.
There you go.
From Barstool Sports.
Barstool
on
Sports.
Twitter.
On Twitter, there you go. Barstool Sports. You heard it here.
So we just got him with the arm underneath and over.
Did you get him in a ninja choke?
Pretty much.
Or like the world or the brado? So
Yeah.
didn't he just hold?
He did a
Bro,
table grip.
bro, he went out.
He did go out.
And the thing is like on
These are
the thing is when you put somebody in unconscious and they're standing with you, you know, we in the gym, we don't think about the fact that you're out. Like we let you go and the mat's there, right? So in the street, it's the same thing. So I had dude and I choked him and, you know, he it was bad, but like, he pushed me. All right. So he pushed me, knocked the drink, and, you know, so I knocked the drinks out of his hands because he wasn't listening. He kept bringing them outside. So I knocked the drinks out of his hand. He got mad. He pushed me. So then as soon as he touched me, I arm dragged him, and then he tried to push on my hip to stop me from going to take his back, and instead of taking his back or arm drag, I just sunk the choke in, and then I hit that choke and I felt him go limp, and I just let go of my hands, and his face smashed down on the broken glass, on the bottles, on the concrete. And the police came and they asked me what happened because they thought I beat him, and I was like, I didn't hit him. And I was like, I didn't hit him. And they're like, okay, good job.
Okay.
And then they just let me go back to work. And that was the end of it. He was belligerent, and you know, he was wanting to bring the party outside with all his buddies, and we don't do that in Japan. You don't bring bottles in the streets, and because people get cut.
Right.
So I was not proud of that. Actually, I didn't.
So the moral of the story is,
If you're choking somebody and they're going limp, don't just drop them on the concrete outside. It's just going to get worse for you.
He didn't drop him much. He
didn't drop. When you let them go, they flop.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they flop, that's you're going to give somebody permanent brain damage, concussion. You gotta set them down.
Like a baby.
Set him down like a baby because you just babied the crap out of him, dude. You can't just and let him smack that concrete. You got to be aware of what's going on. I understand we don't train it because we have the mat, and when we feel somebody go like a sack of potatoes, we just drop them. Boom. You're good.
Mm-hmm. But not in the street.
In the street, you got to think about the concrete, folks. Kids, if anything, just
so
please lay them down like a baby because they're the baby. Then you know what you do. You didn't hear this from me, but you tell them you got to pay me for my performance now. Run them pockets. Run it. Give me that money. No free fights. No free fights.
So, back to our first topic, which might not actually occur, is Nate Diaz going, well, if he fought Logan Paul, who would win? Considering your background of what you know.
Okay, here's what I've seen. Here's what I've seen.
Win?
Here's what I've seen. Here's what
Okay.
I've seen. Here's what I think.
Tell them.
I think Logan Paul is if he sticks with boxing throughout the next 5 years, and I mean, maybe 3, because boxing is one of those things where, like, you can be good at it and learning it. Mm-hmm. You start to get your style in, and then, like, look at Canelo. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of how Canelo started. Canelo hit a few bumps early into the road, and he wasn't this great beast that we've seen, the last few years. Before that, he wasn't that guy. I think Logan Paul, under the radar, is going to be really good. I think Nate Diaz is going to be that one guy that's going to try and take him into deep water, out-punch him. If Nate goes to distance, Nate will win because that's his game.
And then that's going to kickstart
he will.
greatness.
Nate is, if it happens, Nate is a punches and bunches guy. Mm-hmm. So on the scorecards, he's going to win. He's just going to win. He's going to do the Lomachenko type style. Move, hit, not get hit. That's going to be it. He's going to try it. He's going to have to try and do that. If he doesn't do that, and if he goes this Nate Diaz style where he stands in front of him like he does in MMA and takes the hits for boxing, I don't think he'll make it.
My question is, what if Nate gets taken down?
It's boxing.
It's just boxing?
It's just boxing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that puts a whole new
That's
spin
what I'm
to
saying.
things. I thought it was just a UFC fight. I was
No.
wrong. Okay, it was just boxing?
Yeah, it's just boxing.
It might go full.
I really think Logan's bigger.
He is bigger.
So, like I said, I think Nate, if he comes in with the strategy of like punches and bunches, showboat, a lot of Ali style stuff, I think Nate can win it on the scorecards and it goes the distance.
Okay. But after this incident,
who knows?
Who knows?
Logan has power and he's coming with that youth and that power. And man, youth and power and speed, that's, Nate's an old guy, an older fighter, not an old guy. I apologize. He's not an old guy. He's an older fighter. Mm. And he's a great fighter and he's got an awesome chin. I don't think I've seen anybody hurt him, but you have to give the kid the power. So, I mean, I would never bet on either one because of the fact that it's just, at this point in Logan Paul's career, there's no telling. He's legitimate as a boxer. Nate, he's hands down really good at boxing. And he's not the greatest, but I think with the right game plan, he could win. I don't see him knocking out, Logan.
Do you want me to speak?
Yeah, what do you think's going to happen?
Well,
of course I want you to speak. What are you talking about? This is a Father's Day thing. I'm hogging the mic. See?
I would say that, this is a hard choice when it's boxing. When it's boxing, I think that Logan Paul has an advantage because he's been practicing boxing for a while now with the top boxing athletes because he gets to talk to them on his podcast and then train with them secretively. So when it comes to boxing and when it comes to MMA, I think MMA, Diaz would win anytime any part of the day. But when it comes to boxing, I think that Logan Paul has a good chance of winning.
He has the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing about that is Diaz, though, has been boxing for the last 13 years. And he's been boxing boxers. Now, I don't know because I'm not in the gym with him. It seems that Nick would be the better one for Logan, in my opinion. I think Nick Diaz versus Logan Paul would be the freaking... I think then I would be like, okay, Nick Diaz. That's only because he's boxing is savage, dude. I don't. He's one of the best boxers in the UFC. Nick, not Nate. Nick is one of the best boxers in the UFC.
But then there's Nick, who teaches his brother Nate.
It could be the next fight. This might be a replacement. Nick might step up and get that payday.
That might be it.
That might be the deal.
That might be the deal.
Listen, if it was Nick Diaz versus Logan Paul, I'm going with Nick Diaz. I'm sorry.
That might be the next step up.
But then again, I don't know how good a shape Nick's been in. He's gotten bigger. I don't know. I heard a long time ago that he's been partying, but everybody parties, so I don't know. They're just different, dude. The Diaz brothers, I've loved them since day one. So they're like triathletes, and I love their toughness,
Stamina.
And I called one of the Nick was fighting one of the guys in Japan, and literally I was calling out. I was the only one in the arena screaming out stuff to Nick, and I swear he heard me, because every time I would call something, he would do it. I was like, yeah, woo, and me and my boy Axis were there, I think. And we sat there, and that was one of those, we were always in that scene in Japan, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What does this say?
What does it say? Oh, yeah. So Street Jesus has retired from MMA.
Okay.
And he's going to get into promoting here in Southwest Florida, which I think is fantastic. And I wish him the best on his endeavors. But Ben Askren, dude, he seems to think that he can still do something. And I really, Masvidal is, I didn't agree with Joe Rogan when he said that he was as great as GSP, because GSP is one of the greatest champions of all time. But Masvidal, you shouldn't have quit now, man. I wanted to see you get a belt, and not the BEMF belt. I really think that you were just right there, and but you know the best for yourself, just like anybody that knows the best for themselves.
Okay.
And I hope to see some of your shows, and I know you'll probably put on some great ones here in Florida. We'll probably go check out a show or two sometime.
All right.
But yeah, I want kind of like, I'm one of those guys that I care about fights, right? So I like to see fights. I don't want the promotion things or the money or that. Everybody wants more. Everybody's going to want more. That's just human nature. We always want more. We want more now. I want more now. I want, So that's just human nature. But as far as that goes, I really, there was a lot of questions still there that I think Masvidal could have done some more things. But, we all have to reach a point at some point and put things down and walk away. So congratulations.
All right. I think that's everything we have to talk about.
Heck yeah. We went down a list this time. We're trying to get a little more organized, if you haven't noticed. I think Owen was a little confused on some of our topics today, but we're getting to it. And, I've got to learn to kind of shift back and forth, and he's got to learn to shift back and forth. But it's a learning process, and we're happy that you guys are learning with us. And, yeah.
Only way up is, it's the only way up.
Only way up is up.
Yeah.
I guess we got to... Another thing is, I really want to move this to a different place, but since we're on the mat in the back, he doesn't want to leave it.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm sweating right now. We're in the garage, and
but
we have to work out.
It gets us into ready. All right, let's leave it at that, and we'll say goodbye
Bye.
with the Generational Podcast.
Yep, episode
Number
6.
6. Wow, that's a lot.